So I just stumbled upon this project called T3code, and it's basically a minimal web GUI for coding agents like Codex and Claude.
Wait, what? A web GUI for coding agents. That sounds super intriguing. What can you do with it?
You can actually run coding tasks without diving deep into the command line. It's like a friendly interface for these powerful tools.
That's pretty cool, but I wonder how user-friendly it really is. What's the learning curve like?
Good point, it's still in early development, so they warn about bugs. I guess that means it might be a bit rough around the edges.
Right, that makes sense. But does that mean there's a lot of trial and error involved for users?
Exactly, plus, they mention you need to install and authenticate providers like Codex or Claude first.
So it's not just plug and play. I can see that turning some people off.
For sure, but it's interesting how it might push users to learn more about these tools in the process.
True, so you mentioned it supports Codex and Claude. Are there plans for more agents?
Yes, that's the plan. They're just starting small, but imagine the potential if they expand.
Totally, but I wonder if they'll face challenges with integrating various agents. Different APIs and functionalities could complicate things.
Good point, it's definitely a balancing act, but if they nail it, it could streamline coding across platforms.
Speaking of streamlining, how does the installation process look? Is it straightforward?
They offer several options depending on your OS, like using Homebrew for macOS or Winget for Windows. That sounds pretty accessible.
Okay, that's promising, but I wonder about the support. What if users hit a snag?
They suggest joining a Discord for support, which is kind of neat. It creates a community vibe.
That is cool, but isn't it a bit risky to rely on a Discord channel for support? What if it gets chaotic?
Totally valid concern, it could get overwhelming, but it also means users can share tips and solutions quickly.
True, it might foster a collaborative spirit. Still, I hope they have some documentation to back that up.
Oh, they do, there's an observability guide in the docs. It seems they're trying to provide resources.
That's reassuring, but how detailed is it? Sometimes docs can be sparse and users end up confused.
Fair point, I'd imagine early docs might be a bit thin given they're in the early stages.
So do you think this project could evolve into something more robust? Or is it too early to tell?
It could, especially if they listen to user feedback, but that's always a big if.
Exactly. And I hope they don't overlook user needs while they're trying to expand.
Absolutely, user experience should be at the forefront of their development.
And isn't it fascinating to think about the potential impact on coding education? This could make programming more accessible.
Oh, definitely, if they can simplify things, it might encourage more people to dive into coding.
But it also raises questions about whether users will actually learn coding fundamentals or just rely on the GUI.
Right, there's a risk of creating a generation of coders who rely heavily on these tools without understanding the basics.
It's a double-edged sword, for sure. Hopefully, educators can find ways to integrate tools like T3code while teaching fundamentals.
Exactly, so do you think T3 code could become a staple for new coders, or is it too niche?
It might find its place, especially among those who are intimidated by traditional coding environments. It's all about accessibility.
Totally agree, if they can keep improving, it could really change the game for a lot of folks.
But I still wonder, how long before it becomes feature-rich enough to compete with more established tools?
That's the million-dollar question. They'll need a solid roadmap and community support to keep evolving.
Definitely. It's an exciting time for coding tools, and T3 code seems like it could carve out a unique niche.
For sure, and it'll be interesting to watch how they address user feedback as they grow.
I'm curious too. It feels like we're on the brink of something transformative in coding accessibility.
Right, it's an exciting prospect, and I can't wait to see where they go from here.
Yeah, it leaves me wondering just how impactful simplified coding tools can be in the long run.
Definitely something to think about. This is just the start of a larger conversation about tech and accessibility.
Absolutely. And it's a conversation worth having, especially with the growing interest in coding.
So what's next for us? Should we dive deeper into what makes a good coding tool?
I'm in. let's explore what features really make coding accessible and engaging for everyone.